In week 5, they are on to the Dolphins at home.
It's a tough one, but you got them at home.
And the following week is the Texans at home. 2-game homestand.
All right, you know what? That Texans one, I'm saying that's going to be Drake Maye's first start.
Okay.
You always have one game that you're in, the Bills last year. I think that's a winnable game for them.
Okay.
Texans at home.
Well, I think you're bringing up something interesting with the first 5 games being Bengals, Seahawks, Jets, Niners, Dolphins. What do we reasonably expect their record to be after 5 games? Maybe 1-4?
Yeah.
Maybe. They could be 0-5.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
And if they are, where's the landing spot for Drake Maye? Because you look at the stretch after those 5 games to start the year. There's a home game against the Texans. You predict that'll be Drake Maye's first start. After that, they're on to London. Then they have the Jets. Do either of those make sense as spots to start Drake Maye for the first time?
I think it's hard to pick any game to say, hey, this is where we're going to start Drake Maye. I think it's Drake Maye on his own clock. Like, if he's going to be ready, I think
London, you're going to start him his first game in the NFL is on the road in London with everything that comes with that?
I think you start him before it.
Okay, well, that's why I'm making this case for him.
Yeah.
To start against the Texans, as McCone brought up, he's predicting that'll be the spot. Because I don't think it's the Jags. I don't think it's taking on the Jets.
That's tough, yeah.
And some of those big boys up front that'll get after you real quick.
Jets have a badass front 7.
Yeah, they do.
I think things could go. If things go really, really bad first 3 games, I could see him starting at San Fran.
It's either
because of the extra time.
I think 5 games minimum is what Brissett gets. So I'm going to go with either the Texans game or the Titans game on the road at the start of November, which is a month later.
You're going to be really patient, though. If you're going all the way to Tennessee, man, you are patient because I
am patient.
I don't know how you go.
I'd be fine with him starting against Tennessee and the Bears back to back.
Now again, like you look at these and like obviously all good quarterbacks, right? I mean, Geno Smith. I mean, he's pretty good. He's pretty good now.
If I had it my way, that's where I would make the landing spot.
Tennessee,
November 3rd.
Yeah,
because I prefer to get through Halloween, as I've said. Get through Halloween, and then you can start him.
Just a lot of willpower. You know, like things aren't going well. You're 0-5, or you got one
Tennessee,
win, and it's like
Will Levis, and then I think the next week you're at Chicago.
We need to get a receiver for Drake Maye in the draft next year.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Or a left tackle, because they'll still be in need of that. Right?
Yeah. That's a tough schedule.
All right, so then it's, as I mentioned, London for the Jags, Jets, Titans, and Bears on the road. Back home on November 17th against the Rams. They go to Miami the following week.
That's a nice time to go to Miami, right there.
They are home against the Colts. And then they have the bye week, which is not in the middle of the year, but in week 14.
Nice. And the fall book right there. Bang.
There is no break.
No.
Week 14 is the bye. They come out of it after the weekend of December 7th would be the bye week. December 15th, road, Cardinals. December 22nd, road, Buffalo. Loss right there, fellas.
Boy, they bent you over playing Buffalo twice in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it is Chargers and Buffalo at home to wrap up the regular season.
No Thanksgiving, no Christmas. Side looking from my perspective, too.
Did that leaked schedule we went over have a single game right, by the way?
I think you had one.
Which game was right?
And one.
Seattle? One. You went one for 17? Not a great shooting percentage on that.
No.
That's okay. I still enjoyed it. I still like talking about it.
It's fun.
I will talk about any schedule leak that, even if it's not real, we can have fun with. This schedule is hard.
Yes.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Regardless of the travel in the schedule and setup of it, regardless of going to London or going to the West Coast twice and not once, having the bye week in week 14, those are all things that work against you. 3 of the first 4 on the road.
You're going to find out.
Holy crap.
You are going to find out seriously about your defense this year because you can't laugh at him now and say, oh, you played Zach Wilson twice a year. You look at this list of games, and out of the 17, it's Will Levis, maybe Geno Smith in week 2, and then you got to start reaching for like the next worst guy, and maybe it's Kyler Murray. And after that, you got all good quarterbacks. So if your defense balls, then you're balling against some pretty good quarterbacks. Rest of the quarterbacks are legit. First year where you look at it, you say, I didn't play tomato can quarterbacks. It's kind of been stacked that way for you the last couple of years. So no Thanksgiving game. I'll be home with Thanksgiving. I'll be home with Christmas. I'm excited to go to London. I love the London trip. International game. Put us in London every year. No more Mexico City. No more Germany. Don't want to go to Brazil.
Nashville in early November. That's going to be nice for you.
That'll be fun.
That'll be a good one.
Man, out of the gate. Burrow, Geno Smith, we assume. Is that what you said? You're going to assume it's him?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, Purdy and the 49ers, Tua, C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence.
Let's say it isn't Geno Smith. They got Sam Howell out there, right? Like, and how'd he
Right,
do?
whoever wins it.
How'd he do against you last year? Carved you up.
Rodgers again, Will Levis, Caleb Williams starting for the Bears, Stafford, Tua, Anthony Richardson, who we saw a little bit of last year before he got hurt, and I think is a pretty dynamic player.
Yeah, I saw him throwing some cannonballs. He was gunning them in some of their the team drills last week, and then he's just doing backflips in huddle. Like, Jesus.
It's tough. Man, the division just kills you now.
No, not being able to put those Jets games in the bank, that's a tough one. That's a killer.